All right, so get this. We're diving into a real head-scratcher today, one that's kept, like, internet sleuths busy for years. The disappearance of Maura Murray.
A case that has, like, more twists and turns than a back road in New Hampshire, which coincidentally is where this story starts.
Exactly. It's February 9th, 2004. Picture Maura, a 21-year-old nursing student at UMass Amherst, bright future ahead of her, but then bam, car crash on this desolate road and poof, gone vanished.
And the more you dig into, like, her background, star athlete, academically gifted, even spent time at West Point, the more baffling it gets. This wasn't someone obviously on the run from their life.
Right. You'd think there'd be some, like, clear motive, some reason for a young woman to just disappear. But hold on, it gets even weirder. Just days before Maura gets this phone call that leaves her completely shaken.
It was her sister Kathleen. And while the content of that call remains a total mystery, the source material describes Maura as inconsolable afterwards.
Yeah.
Whatever was said, it clearly shook her up.
And then things spiral. She emails her professors about a family emergency, which never happened, by the way, withdraws practically all her money, and then this is the part that always throws me. She goes shopping.
And not just any shopping trip. We're talking a bottle of Bailey's snacks, a bunch of seemingly random items. It's almost like she was prepping for a quick getaway, not a permanent escape.
Okay, so you find this list in the source material, and immediately it throws a wrench into that whole running away theory, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. It's a detail that often gets overlooked, but it raises more questions than it answers. Was she trying to throw people off her trail? Was this some sort of planned disappearance, or was something else entirely going on?
Because then get this, she packs her car, we're talking clothes, toiletries, even her textbooks, like she's leaving for good. But then she leaves a box marked return.
It's a bizarre detail that has fueled endless speculation. Was it intentional? A cryptic message? Or simply an oversight in a moment of panic? We just don't know.
It's like she's leaving breadcrumbs, but they lead to a dead end. And this all culminates in the crash itself. Rural New Hampshire, snow on the ground, a single car off the road. You practically expect a hooded figure to emerge from the trees.
And then there are witnesses, two of them who stop to offer help. Maura, though, refuses both times.
It's like she was determined to be alone, even though one witness, a bus driver named Butch Atwood, sensed something wasn't right and called the police. But by the time they got there,
Maura was gone. No sign of her. Just the eerie silence of that snowy road. No footprints, no struggle, nothing. It's like she walked straight into another dimension.
Chill's right. It's the kind of disappearance that makes you question everything. And of course, with no clear explanation, the theories start popping up like mushrooms after a rain.
And you've got everything from the plausible to the, well, let's just say creative. But, you know, when you peel back the layers of this case, certain theories hold more water than others.
So let's unpack them, shall we? First up, the running away theory. On the surface, it seems plausible. She's packed, she's got cash, she's even concocted this whole family emergency story.
But then you've got this 20-year black hole, no confirmed sightings, no contact with family, no digital footprint whatsoever. It stretches the limits of believability, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's like she knew how to disappear completely. Which leads us down another path. The possibility of foul play. I mean, think about it. Remote location, a young woman alone, and she disappears in broad daylight. It's the perfect recipe for a thriller novel, and sadly, sometimes real life can be just as dark.
And the details, when you line them up, start to paint a disturbing picture. That phone call, the withdrawn cash, the sense that she was trying to slip away unnoticed. It's all fuel for the foul play fire.
But then, and this is where it gets frustrating, there's zero physical evidence, no signs of a struggle, no witnesses reporting anything suspicious. It's a complete blank.
Which, of course, brings us to another chilling possibility that she simply succumbed to the elements. The White Mountains in February. That's not a forgiving landscape. Hypothermia, disorientation. It can happen faster than you think.
It's a thought that sends shivers down your spine, right? This young woman, disoriented from the crash, wandering out into the snow and ice, never to be seen again.
And it would explain why, despite numerous searches, her body has never been found. The wilderness can swallow things whole, especially in those conditions.
It's a grim possibility, but one we have to consider. And of course, with a case this baffling, you're always going to have those other theories, the ones that make you raise an eyebrow, let's say.
Yes. The alien abductions, the alternate realities. It's a testament to the power of this case, that it can spark such wild speculation.
Because at the end of the day, you have to admit there's something about an unsolved mystery, especially one as layered and enigmatic as this, that just grabs hold of you and refuses to let go.
And that's why, even after all these years, Maura's case continues to fascinate, to frustrate, and to remind us that sometimes the most unsettling mysteries are the ones without any easy answers.
It's like you said, a real-life mystery novel. You keep turning the pages, hoping for that, satisfying conclusion. But with Maura's story, that final chapter never comes.
And that's what's kept people so invested for so long.
Yeah.
It's not just the mystery itself, it's the fact that a real person with hopes and dreams vanished without a trace. You find yourself picturing those last moments before the crash, wondering what was going through her mind.
It's impossible not to write, especially when you consider all the source material, the police reports, the witness testimonies, even those online forums buzzing with theories. It's like, it takes on a life of its own.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the dedication of law enforcement and, amateur sleuths alike who haven't given up on finding answers. They keep digging, keep analyzing, hoping that one tiny detail will emerge and just crack the case wide open.
Because somewhere out there, someone knows something. Maybe a detail that seemed insignificant at the time, a fleeting memory. Something that could be the key to unlocking the truth of what happened to Maura.
That's the thing about these enduring mysteries. They often hinge on those seemingly insignificant details, those whispers in the wind that most people wouldn't even register.
And that's why we do this right, to keep these stories alive, to examine the details, and maybe spark a memory, encourage someone to come forward.
Exactly. Because even the smallest piece of information, something dismissed as irrelevant at the time, could be the missing link. The clue that leads us to Maura.
So if you're listening to this and anything at all comes to mind, a detail from the source material that resonated with you, a news clipping, you remember anything at all, don't hesitate. Contact the authorities. You never know, you might hold the key to bringing Maura home.
After all this time, after all the theories and speculation, the most important thing is to remember Maura. A young woman with her whole life ahead of her who deserves justice and a resolution to her story.
And maybe, just maybe, by revisiting the details, by keeping the conversation going, we can help bring some measure of peace and closure to those who loved her and still search for answers. Because sometimes the truth is out there, waiting to be found.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe the channel. Please share your feedbacks and thoughts through comments.